A proud native of County Meath, Edmond Mahoney had a hugely successful career with Tattersalls, the oldest bloodstock auction house in the world, and a Goliath within the world of auctioneering in the bloodstock industry. Edmond's early life within the horse business was with Allaire DuPont in Maryland, America, before coming home to become assistant to his great mentor, Sir Peter Nugent at Tattersalls.
Well, my first memories of Edmond were, I think, when he was probably about early 20s, and Captain Ken Watt, who was the chairman at the time, said that he'd got this young lad coming over from Ireland, would I look after him a little bit? And so we sat down in the seats and we watched a sale progress a little bit. And he got near lunchtime and I thought, a 20-year-old would want a beer or two and something to eat. So I said to him, OK, let's go and get some lunch. And he just looked at me with disbelief and said, no, I just want to watch the sale. I'll get something maybe a bit later on. And so I went off and had my couple of beers and some food, came back and Edmund was still there. And at the time I remember thinking it was quite unusual for someone of that age to be like that, but then getting to know him more, that is very much that dedication that he has, and he wanted to pick up as much as he could in that first experience of Tattersalls.
Edmond joined Tattersalls in 1981, and 12 years later he became the 9th chairman of the world-famous sales company.
I was looking the other day, actually, at his first ever session as an auctioneer, which was in 1982 at the Autumn Yearling Sale, where he had one run of, I think, 7 horses. By that stage, it was probably a year or two on from when we first met. We'd become quite good friends. And I was concerned, because he was quite quiet, quite a shy fellow at that stage. I was concerned how he was going to be in the rostrum. And he got up there, and I remember thinking, wow. It's like he's been selling for years. And, of course, what he'd done was he would go round in the car with Sir Peter Nugent, who was like a mentor to him, and would sell horses as they drove round Ireland looking at yearlings or looking at whatever. And so by the time he got to the ring, he was probably as accomplished as many an auctioneer who's been doing it for years. Towards the end, I think it was the early 1990s, he took over as chairman from Michael Watt. And the company was still, in many ways, quite old-fashioned. I mean, it had very many virtues, but it was quite old-fashioned. And certainly there was no way that I, as a lesser mortal, could ever be a director. And Edmond changed that, so I'm forever grateful to him for that. But I think he just sort of brought a new life to the company, and it just became more business-like. He certainly had big ideas, and he was determined to get them through, and it really improved the company, I think.
He made it a meritocracy. There's all change going on now, but the last 30 years are very much his baby, and it's his stamp on it.
His influence within Tattersalls and the wider industry over the next 32 years has been remarkable.
Anybody in the business would say he was the right person for the job at that point in time, and it wasn't easy. The company was going through big changes at the time. I remember we had the chat, and I said, well, listen, in a way, it's good to start off when things are rough, rather than coming in on the crest of a wave. But he handled it all brilliantly. He's made important changes without changing the whole direction of the ship.
Oh no, he's the best. I mean, he's one of the great auctioneers. Commands a run, very rarely makes a mistake, if ever. The most fantastic thing is selling a £2,000 horse is the same as selling a £2 million horse to him. The whole point is he's working for the vendor and to get the most for the horse to which he was entrusted. And that's the way he thinks of Tattersalls.
I think Edmond modelled himself as much as he modelled on anybody, on Sir Peter on the rostrum, and what a great role model. Sir Peter was, by common consensus, if not the best, certainly among the best thoroughbred auctioneers any of us alive have ever seen. And Edmond is absolutely up to that standard. I mean, in my 41 years on the rostrum, and I've studied all the auctioneers to try and learn, I would say there hasn't been a better auctioneer than Edmond Mahoney. He's consistent, he's outstanding, he's calm, he reads the ring. He's not flashy, it's not about him, it's all about the horse, and that's what makes him so good. He knows what he's doing.
Edmond's love for Ireland and the Irish way of life with horses hasn't diminished, and he has been senior master with the Loud Foxhounds for more than 25 years, while surely one of his finest moments came when he won the Heavyweight Hunter Championship at the Dublin Horse Show.
He's a great huntsman. I once followed him across the fields of mine, one and only hunting story. His whole life is hunting. He loves hunting. I mean, he spent a season with the Galway Blazers before he went to work in America for Alaire Dupont.
Edmond's a beautiful rider, fantastic rider, and he loves hunting. Brave as a lion out hunting, you know, he'd jump anything. He's a horseman to the tips of his fingers, and be it hunting or showing or raising young stock, it's in his Irish DNA.
A colossal figure within the world of racing and bloodstock over the last number of decades, Edmond Mahoney's influence on the horse industry has been immense. He is yet another example of the reach that the Irish people have around the world in the horse business, and he's yet another accomplished horseman that Ireland can be very proud of.